solvency flow, and then to the counter plan, and then Duke Energy, then to BizCon. Actually, I'm sorry, let me put BizCon before the counterplan. It's going to be solvency, BizCon, Duke Energy, counterplan at the bottom.
Okay.
On the solvency flow extended across that racism still exists at the time frame equals generations is a conceded impact analysis that we're always going to outweigh them on time frame. So you're going to prefer the world of the you're going to prefer the counterplan or the dishads in when it comes to time frame. And extend that the only way to gain solvency for the advantage is to fiat the mindset change of the countless number of people who experience or perpetuate racism. That this is completely abusive because of the clash is lost in a real world where they find a utopian world. This is a vote for clash and fairness, and clash is the key to education for two reasons. One, the line-by-line refutation increases critical thinking, and the Socratic dialogue that takes place also increases critical thinking. And extend that this is a conceded voting issue, so you can vote them down right here. Also extend that overruling Milligan leads to private school shift, as well as a congressional backlash ensuring the plan can't solve. Extend this is we conceded that it just warrants that when Congress perceives the Supreme Court going crazy on desegregation cases, they're going to backlash against them and check back the power of the Supreme Court, which is going to ensure that the plan can't solve.
On to BizCon.
They say that BizCon is on a 9-month low, but this still doesn't mean that it can't be high overall. As well as U.S. business confidence increasing, stocks are up, and corporate earnings are strong. Business Times Singapore 11-1 on 2006, which post-states their evidence. Benchmark trade time index, S&P record, fueled by significant investing moves in the United States, where that industrial average, some of the indices across the globe soaring as it first passed the critical 12,000 mark to reach the historic high last month. American sentiment was boosted by the robust third quarter earnings on return and by the larger U.S. corporate profits last month. The growing belief that despite worsening growth numbers, the U.S. economy could be headed for a soft landing in the fourth quarter. The U.S. Federal Reserve is signaling interest rates unchanged at that policy meeting last week has also done much to boost market sentiment, and business and consumer confidence will continue to increase. Business Week 10/30/2006. Signs of a pickup of emerging recent stock market gains show investors are seeing a huge change in the air. Small businesses voiced greater optimism in September, and consumer confidence rebounded strong in October. Households seem especially thrilled by the lower gas prices as the plunge in overall inflation boosts the buying power of the paychecks. And small business confidence is growing polls. Business Wire 11/27/06. Small business confidence rose for the fourth straight month. The Discovery of the Business Watch surged 10 points. The business owners who say the conditions for the business will be better in the next 6 months. 49% rate of the U.S. economy is excellent. Small business owners are more optimistic than plan to invest further in themselves in the near. This card specifically warrants that they're polling small business owners, and all of them have 49% of them rate the U.S. economy is excellent, and that all of them as a whole view the economy as doing very well in the short term.
Donald, I should have a cover there that says business confidence is key to world economy, or key to economy. It's on the floor, or it's in my BizCon spending. Oh.
And they say that they read this term that diversity leads to tolerance in the workplace. It's by GM 2000. Yeah, GM would know a lot about success in corporate profits. Affirmative action programs solve for this as well. There's no bright line of warrant that diversity or tolerance leads to greater productivity either. And they say that I'll come back to that.
It should be key.
And on to Duke Energy. Can see the no internal link that usually capital is evolutionary, which means we're kicking in. There's no offense on this flow, which means that it completely goes away.
All right, on to the counterplan.
First of all, on the perm, read the counterplan. Read the counterplan text. The perm is severance because in the counterplan text we deny cert to the next relevant test case, which their plan functionally does. This severance permutations are bad because the moving target allows the affirmative to essentially change what their plan is and then around which destroys our ability to run an effective strategy. No counterplan could ever compete severance for justify the permutation due to the counterplan, meaning that the negative ground would have zero counterplan ground, and this decreases dedication. We never want to consider advocacy and debate. Teams are allowed to shift their advocacy the whole round, and this is a voting issue to preserve competition and education. Drop down, they say that you can group their next two arguments. No solvency of the plan will be struck down. The only Supreme Court can solve a lack of political will. The fiat solves the political will of this, and on their fiat abuse, this is just a case of multiple actor fiat. Multiple actor fiat is do you need? I got it. Multi-factor fiat is good because of reciprocity. By using the federal government, they fiat all three branches of the federal government counts people whose bodies. They increase the predictability. More actors increase the chance that they will have evidence against our counterplan. It increases ground. More actors mean the potential DAs to run against our counterplan. It's more real world. Multi-factors work together in the real world. It's the best policy option to be as a truth-seeking activity, as well as increased education. It increases the scope of policy discussion and research. And it's not a voting issue. That's good enough. And you're going to extend across our Shell Durham 1998 card that says warrants that states that courts are the best actors by far promoting positive rights like education. It says that it warrants that federal courts are bad because there's no democratic pressure, there's no textual basis in the Constitution, there's no tradition of positive rights, and there's no local flexibility, meaning that state courts are closer to the source of oppression, which means they're always going to be able to solve better. And it warrants that state courts are good because they support law evolution. There's existing economic provisions for this, and because of the ease of amendment. It's their answer to their argument that without the plan it will be struck down because the Supreme Court trumps the state courts. But the state courts are allowed to grant positive rights if it exceeds the scope of the federal Constitution. I'm sorry, just go back to the PERM. The PERM fails. Federal court activism overshadows underlying state action. Friedel-Baum 1992. The enhancement of federal authority discouraged any widespread resort to the state declaration of rights practitioners often turned to the National Bill of Rights whenever pertinent questions arose, and the acting Supreme Court appeared committed to the extension of national guarantees and atmosphere reflective of doubts about the state judiciary's ability to pursue a vigorous course premised solely on state constitutions. And PERM fails. State courts are acting to pass the buck to the Supreme Court undermines their own credibility. Friedel-Baum 1992. PERM's full events to divert explosive issues to the Supreme Court ultimately defile the state courts and render their pronouncements less credible and enduring and overuse to compromise the status of state court and weakens time-honored traditions of accommodation and commodity in the federal system. And PERM can't solve because duplicate action leads to implementation problems. Lehman and Nelson, 1982. When federal policy is limited goals, and compromise occasional by intergovernmental bargaining were tolerable today. However, more social resources and values are at stake. The efforts to implement intergovernmental programs demonstrate that these programs are prone to disappointing results because of the complexity of joint action and the profusion of opportunities for participants to veto or alter resource. Joint intergovernmental programs results may be worse than what either the states or the federal government would produce alone. And Kentucky proves state courts can act in opposition to Supreme Court rulings on education, Batterson 1993. Kentucky has taken the initiative and departed from the Supreme Court precedent on right to education. The Supreme Court of Kentucky found education to be a fundamental right after the Kentucky Constitution. The court found the Kentucky General Assembly did not comply with its constitutional mandate by the defending the system of public education. Throughout the state, the court could explicitly make clear that the decision was based solely on the Kentucky Constitution, that the resolution of the issues arising under the United States Constitution was unnecessary. This part incites empirical evidence that in cases where state courts have instituted rights, fundamental rights to education, that they can trump the Supreme Court, guaranteeing a solvency. And state solve minority interests better because they're closer to the source of oppression because of the more democratic nature of state courts. Blanchard in 1998. State courts are more critical in protecting against majoritarian oppression than our political counterparts because the threat of tyranny by the majority is notably more present at the state level. The greater potential for opaque rules, and when the state government thus logically implicates a stronger role for the judiciary as guardian of minority interests and individual rights. State courts are far more democratically accountable to the electorate of the voter opinion option and assuages the concerns of the tyranny of the judiciary. Reuse of state constitutional amendments towards an active judicial interpretation, the dual democratic check on state judicial review of election and amendment of justification for a more aggressive state court role in protecting minority interests and individual rights. And state courts should address the issue of education finance because of institutional characteristics of the courts. Blanchard 1988. The greater need for aggressive judicial review of education finance at the state level is accompanied by numerous factors militating in favor of the legitimacy of a more vigorous state judicial review. In the case of education finance, the scale is set heavily in favor of a meaningful judicial review. And just go back to the BizConf. Sorry about that. At the bottom of the flow, where they say that BizCon is not an accurate measure of the economy, lack of confidence destabilizes economic activity. The American Economic Review, 1998. One of the oldest conjectures in the economic holds that self-fulfilling shifts in optimism or confidence can destabilize aggregate economic activity. And business confidence is key to the whole economy. Analysis from the UN Weapons Report 03. We have the ingredients for recovery. We just need business confidence started to pick up with so that the capital spending does kick in and complement all the other sectors of the economy. When business confidence is up, capital spending and consumer spending also is up, which drives the economy. It drives purchases. It drives the housing market. And the consumer spending determines long-term interest rates, which inevitably control the yield curve. You're going to extend our period and impact on this. There's a complete conceded that economic collapse leads to the global nuclear war, giving us 100% probability on this. The time frame is immediate. That's fine.
We'll waive cross-ex.
Oh, okay. I'm up.